15-second hook. One princess never spoke a single word, while the other could never stop talking. Everyone believed they knew which sister would become the perfect queen. But when a terrible danger threatened their kingdom, the greatest lesson wasn't found in loud voices or silent hearts. It was discovered in the courage to understand each other. Once upon a time, in the peaceful kingdom of Everbrook, there lived two princesses who could not have been more different. Princess Elena, the elder sister, was known throughout the land as the Silent Princess. She rarely spoke, not because she couldn't, but because she believed words should only be used when they truly mattered. She loved spending her mornings wandering through flower gardens, reading ancient books beneath old oak trees, and listening to birds sing their cheerful melodies. The people admired her gentle smile, yet many wondered what thoughts filled her quiet mind. Her younger sister, Princess Lily, was the exact opposite. She was bright, energetic, and wonderfully talkative. From sunrise until bedtime, Lily filled every hallway of the castle with laughter, stories, questions, and endless conversations. She greeted every servant by name, chatted with merchants in the marketplace, and could make even the grumpiest guard smile before breakfast. The townspeople adored her cheerful personality, although some secretly wished she would pause long enough to take a breath. The king and queen loved both daughters equally, but they often worried about their differences. The king believed a ruler needed confidence and strong speeches to inspire the people, while the queen quietly reminded him that listening was just as important as speaking. One afternoon, the sisters visited the village together. Lily eagerly introduced herself to everyone she met, telling funny stories that made children laugh. Elena simply smiled, helping an elderly woman gather apples that had rolled across the road. She said nothing, yet the grateful woman held Elena's hands with tears of appreciation. As the sisters walked back to the castle beneath the golden evening sky, Lily giggled. "I still don't understand how you can stay so quiet all day," she teased. Elena looked at her sister, smiled warmly, and gently squeezed her hand without saying a word. Neither of them realized that their greatest adventure and the greatest test of their hearts was only beginning. 1 week later, the kingdom prepared for the annual Festival of Unity, the grandest celebration of the year. Colorful banners fluttered from every tower, musicians practiced joyful melodies in the town square, and the sweet smell of freshly baked pies drifted through every street. Families traveled from distant villages to celebrate together, making Everbrook brighter and livelier than ever before. Princess Lily could hardly contain her excitement. She hurried from one booth to another, greeting visitors, complimenting artists, and asking children about their favorite games. Everywhere she went, laughter followed. Her cheerful conversations made strangers feel like old friends. Princess Elena walked beside her, observing quietly. She noticed details others overlooked: a little boy standing alone while his parents searched for him, a tired baker struggling to carry heavy baskets, and an elderly musician whose broken violin string had left him unable to perform. Without drawing attention to herself, Elena helped each person one by one. She reunited the lost child with his family, carried the baker's baskets, and found a replacement string for the musician. Each grateful smile reminded her that kindness often spoke louder than words. As the sun reached its highest point, an unexpected messenger galloped through the castle gates on a dust-covered horse. His face was pale with worry. "Your Majesty," he cried, "the crystal spring in the Whispering Forest has stopped flowing. The river that feeds our farms is drying up. If the spring isn't restored soon, our crops will fail, and the kingdom will face a terrible drought." The cheerful music across the festival slowly faded as the frightening news spread. Farmers exchanged worried glances, merchants whispered nervously, and children clung to their parents. The king immediately gathered his royal council. "Our legends tell us," the oldest advisor explained, "that the crystal spring is protected by the spirit of the forest. The spirit only appears to those whose hearts are balanced with wisdom and compassion." The king looked at his daughters. "Lily, your confidence inspires people. Elena, your calm judgment has always impressed me. I want both of you to travel together to the Whispering Forest. Only by working as sisters may you discover how to save our kingdom." For the first time, Lily felt nervous instead of excited. She looked toward Elena, who gave her a reassuring smile. Though Elena remained silent, Lily somehow understood exactly what that smile meant. Whatever happens, it seemed to say, we will face it together. The next morning, carrying only a small map, a bag of supplies, and hope in their hearts, the two princesses stepped beyond the castle gates, unaware that the journey ahead would test not only their courage, but also the very bond they shared as sisters. The journey to the Whispering Forest took 2 days. As the sisters traveled farther from Everbrook, the familiar roads disappeared, replaced by winding trails beneath towering trees whose branches stretched across the sky like giant hands. The forest lived up to its name. Every breeze carried soft whispers through the leaves, creating the strange feeling that the woods were quietly sharing ancient secrets. At first, Lily tried to keep everyone's spirits high. She chatted about the festival, imagined what adventures awaited them, and guessed what the mysterious spirit of the forest might look like. Maybe it's a friendly old wizard, she laughed. Or perhaps a glowing deer with golden antlers. Elena smiled, but instead of answering, she paused beside a narrow path and knelt beside the ground. She noticed something unusual. Deep footprints pressed into the soft earth. They were much larger than a human's. Lily stopped talking. Do you think we're being followed? Elena nodded slowly and pointed toward the trees. A few moments later, a frightened cry echoed through the forest. Help! Someone please help! Without hesitation, Lily ran toward the sound. Elena followed close behind. They reached a small clearing where a young woodcutter hung helplessly from a broken rope bridge. He clung to a loose plank above a rushing stream, his strength fading with every second. We have to do something, Lily shouted. She called encouragement to the frightened young man, keeping him calm while Elena quickly studied the broken bridge. Without wasting a moment, Elena tied a long rope around the strongest tree nearby, secured the other end around her waist, and carefully climbed across the damaged bridge. Every step was dangerous. The old wood creaked beneath her feet, and the river roared below. Lily continued talking to the woodcutter. Don't look down. Keep your eyes on us. You're doing great. Just hold on a little longer. Hearing Lily's steady voice gave the young man the courage to keep holding on. At the same time, Elena quietly reached him, fastened the safety rope around his chest, and guided him back across the bridge. Once they reached solid ground, the exhausted woodcutter burst into tears. You both saved my life, he said. One gave me hope with her words, and the other saved me through her actions. Lily looked at Elena and smiled. For once, she admitted softly, I think silence said just as much as I did. As they continued deeper into the Whispering Forest, the sisters realized an important truth. Neither endless talking nor complete silence alone could overcome every challenge. Sometimes courage needed encouraging words. Sometimes it needed thoughtful action. And somewhere beyond the ancient trees, the spirit of the forest had been watching them all along. As evening settled over the Whispering Forest, a silver mist drifted between the ancient trees, wrapping the woods in an eerie but peaceful glow. The sisters followed the map until they reached the crystal spring. Their hearts sank at the sight before them. The once beautiful spring was almost dry. Only a few drops of water trickled from the smooth white rocks, and the flowers surrounding it had begun to wilt. Birds sat silently in the branches, while deer stood nearby with lowered heads, as if they too were mourning the fading life of the forest. Lily stepped forward. Spirit of the forest, she called. Please show yourself. Our kingdom needs your help. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the wind suddenly stopped. The trees became perfectly still. Tiny lights floated through the air like glowing stars, gathering above the spring. Slowly, they formed the figure of a graceful woman dressed in shimmering green robes woven from leaves and vines. Her eyes glowed like emeralds, filled with both kindness and ancient wisdom. I have watched you, the spirit said in a calm voice that echoed through the forest. Many have come seeking the crystal spring, but they came only to take. Tell me, princesses, why should I restore the water? Lily immediately began speaking. Our people are suffering. Our farms are drying, children will go hungry, and the kingdom depends on this spring. Please give us another chance." The spirit listened patiently before turning to Elena. "And what do you have to say?" Elena remained silent. Instead, she slowly knelt beside the spring. She noticed a fallen branch blocking the tiny stream beneath the rocks. Without expecting praise or reward, she carefully removed the branch, cleared away mud and scattered stones, and gently replanted several crushed flowers around the edge of the spring. The spirit watched every movement. A warm smile spread across her face. "Your sister spoke with compassion," she said to Lily, "but you spoke with your hands." Suddenly, the ground trembled softly. Clear water burst from beneath the rocks, flowing faster and faster until the crystal spring sparkled brighter than ever before. The trees swayed with joy, flowers bloomed within seconds, and birds filled the air with beautiful songs. The spirit looked at both sisters. The greatest leaders understand that words can inspire hearts, but actions earn trust. Neither gift is complete without the other. Lily reached for Elena's hand. "I've spent my whole life believing I had to fill every silence," she admitted with a gentle laugh. "Now I understand that sometimes the most powerful message doesn't need to be spoken at all." Together, the sisters smiled as the fresh water rushed toward their kingdom, carrying hope with every shimmering wave. The sisters began their journey home the next morning, following the sparkling river that now flowed with renewed life. Everywhere they walked, the forest seemed transformed. Birds sang from the treetops, colorful butterflies danced through the sunlight, and wildflowers bloomed along the path as if celebrating the return of the crystal spring. Even the gentle breeze carried a feeling of peace that neither sister had noticed before. When they reached Everbrook, the entire kingdom gathered at the castle gates. Farmers cheered as fresh water rushed through the canals into their fields. Children splashed happily in the streams, and the bells of the town rang in joyful celebration. The drought had been stopped just in time. The king embraced both of his daughters with tears of pride in his eyes. "You have saved our kingdom," he said. "But more importantly, you have taught us something far greater than courage." That evening, a grand celebration filled the royal courtyard. Musicians played cheerful tunes, families shared delicious meals, and lanterns lit the night sky like thousands of tiny stars. When the time came to honor the princesses, everyone expected Princess Lily to deliver another wonderful speech. Instead, she stepped onto the stage, smiled at the crowd, and paused. The entire kingdom waited in complete silence. Then Lily turned toward her sister. "Today," she said gently, "I'd like everyone to hear what silence sounds like." She took Elena's hand and simply stood beside her without another word. For a few beautiful moments, no one spoke. Yet everyone understood. They remembered Elena's kindness, her bravery, and the quiet actions that had saved not only the crystal spring but the hearts of the people as well. The crowd erupted into warm applause, not because of a speech, but because they had finally learned that true leadership is not measured by how loudly someone speaks. It is measured by the love they show, the wisdom they share, and the actions they take when others need them most. From that day forward, the sisters ruled together in perfect harmony. Lily continued filling the kingdom with hope through her encouraging words, while Elena inspired everyone through her thoughtful actions. Together, they proved that every voice has value, whether it is spoken aloud or expressed through kindness. And so, the kingdom of Everbrook flourished for generations, forever remembering the lesson of the silent princess and the talkative princess, that the strongest hearts know when to speak, when to listen, and when to let their actions tell the story. The end. Moral of the story: kind words can inspire people, but kind actions change lives. True wisdom comes from knowing when to speak and when to listen.